Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 80 of the Screenblend podcast. I'm your host, Will Cutson. As always, I'm joined by two delightful-looking, attractive men today on a Monday. Connor McKenzie and Jack Mason. How are you, boys?
Happy Monday.
We're an octogenarian podcast now. We've made it to 80.
Yeah.
Good innings.
It's a good innings. I always get, this is when you get nervous, I think, now. It's like, can you get to the 100 now? No, but you're
just
getting
like
close
people
now.
do. Just like real life people do.
Yeah. I always think like 80s is like, I'm so close now. I don't want to be that bloke getting out of the 90s. But I think, well, Jack, do you get the cricket reference?
Of course I don't. So.
I didn't even think cricket. I was just picturing life.
Yeah, like so was I.
Oh,
really?
Me and Connor on the same
wavelength. I could crack a hunty. We'll get there.
Whenever it gets to that point, I'm always like, there's some cricket reference in there.
When you're just agonisingly close to that ton.
Yeah, that's what I'm
No one wants
thinking.
to go out for 99.
Nah, never.
Look,
I'm not even going to do references because Jack's just going to miss all of these anyway. So, what I think's fair. So we're talking episode 80, obviously delightful. We've made it to this number. We're talking, it's holiday season's coming up. We're nearly at the end of November.
Not quite.
Now.
We're still in November.
But we're getting you ready now for the holiday season. You know, maybe your holidays start early, like you, your teacher, Jack, done by like the 12th. Yep. What an easy life that you've got here. 8 weeks off.
Some
amazing.
people.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Let's go with
no, but that's true. Teachers have some time off. I mean, kind of working hard through those holidays.
I think I have most of December off.
Okay. So, I'll just be the one.
Yeah, you'll slave away.
Game on the 23rd and the 1st. Okay, we always have to sort of divert off at the start of these episodes.
Of course, it's tradition.
Would you rather work New Year's Eve? So this is night New Year's Eve, say finish around 10, or work New Year's Day? Starting midday.
New Year's Eve.
That's what I told everyone at work. I'm like, I'd rather New Year's Eve.
Because then you still get the night. You get you don't have
fun,
to. You can let loose after that. You can play catch up. Yeah, and that's where it gets dangerous.
Yeah. Because there's still the cricket's on, so that's why we couldn't play New Year's Eve. So we were like talking about whether you play 30th, 31st, 1st. They locked us in for the 1st because I don't know whichever day of the week it is. But I'm like,
Saturday, I think.
But it's like 7:30 on the Saturday. I'm like, they're like, you just recover in the morning. I'm like, if I go hard at New Year's.
You're writing yourself off.
I'm going to be horrid at work. So, and I've probably left work hungover too many times. Once a season's my motto.
Oh, fair enough.
Well,
that'll be your once for the season. Yeah. That's it. New year, new you.
So, long story short, we're talking festive season. What can you watch with family and friends as you get to that time of the year?
It's that period where we all overindulge, and it's okay. You're allowed to overindulge. Don't do it all the time, but this is a perfect time to do it. And this time we're going to overindulge on films, TVs, and games.
So
more than we do already, apparently.
Yeah. So we'll go into it a bit later, but I'm just thinking it's when you get
the best binges. We're thinking
you're sitting down on the couch with your family. You don't know. You're going to scroll through. No. You know what you need to watch. You're going to go straight to it.
We've got the list for you.
But we're going to start with some news because it's been a bit news heavy. We finally got the Spider-Man trailer. So
I knew Will would be happy about this.
Same.
He's been giddy.
So I was forgetting to put together, as you did say, the show notes, Connor. I was like, what has actually been the news this week? And I was like, Spider-Man trailer. I saw another one.
We got another one.
When did you watch it straight away? Because I raced to my laptop from work. It hit 12, and I was like, shit, it's on now. So I sprinted through the office. Everyone's like, what the hell are you doing? Started listening to it, and two people were watching me watch it, as I was just like...
You're the show more than the actual movie trailer.
Yeah, basically in the end. That's so, thoughts? Let's just go straight up.
I was in the classroom at the time and I was making the decision, should I show this to the year sixes? Because I want to watch it at midday, but I held off for another hour till lunchtime. And as soon as I was like, get out guys, go to lunch quickly, took out my phone and watched it and then looked around, make sure no kids were around.
I'm sitting at a computer all day, so I was just kind of like, there it is.
Yeah.
Why not?
Lucky.
Roll it off. Good trailer. Lots of new tidbits.
Yeah.
Lots for the internet to theorize wildly about, as they love to do.
Yeah.
I think the big thing is obviously we got more of two big things. Yeah. One big in, one big out. We got a glimpse of pretty much all the villains. Yeah. So we got to see
proper glimpse.
Yeah. Green Goblin.
Yeah.
Sandman, who's just a big sand face at this stage. We don't know if Thomas Hayden Church is back yet.
Oh, we do, I think. It's strongly suggested, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he hasn't been shown, though, Jack.
Nothing announced.
No, he hasn't.
Well, we don't know. Just internet rumours. And Lizard as well.
Yeah.
And Electro.
And a proper look of Electro now.
First thing I kind of noticed is Green Goblin looks pretty spot on.
Yep.
They all look...
Although it looks like there's a shot of what looks like a different Green Goblin later on. He hasn't got his helmet on, but he's got goggles, and everyone's like, is that Dane DeHaan? Yeah. I just think it's Willem Dafoe, and he's had a costume change.
Yeah, agreed.
But Electro looks different. Sandman
he's
Lizard
yellow.
Yeah, he's not blue
he's
anymore.
Comic book accurate-ish.
Yeah, and when he uses his lightning, he gets the star thing like from his costume, which is a nice little nod.
Is he using the arc reactor? I saw in a
Yeah, that's
picture.
a theory that everyone thinks, oh, there's a blue light. Maybe it's Tony Stark, or maybe... anyway. So yeah, that's just keeping me wondering whether these are the original villains or not. I think...
Some people are saying now with all the stuff that's happening in Loki, it's just setting up variants of everybody.
Yeah.
So we might get the original Doc Ock that we're having, so that one will be taken, because I think it's them. The idea is these villains are getting taken away just before they're getting killed by or dying in their universe.
Because they don't all die by the hands of Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Sandman walks away on good terms. You know, Doc Ock is on good terms with Spider-Man when he actually originally drowns. So, and then Lizard survives. So they're not all...
Or before before they get their demise of Spider-Man. That's why he doesn't want to send them back. Is that what I'm gathering is the correct story?
So that's he sort of gets... It appears he gets into conflict with Doc Strange because he's like, we have to send them back. Like, they don't belong here. And he's like, well, then we're sending them to death. Which I think is great because it's just a classic Spider-Man thing. Like, he's Batman. He doesn't kill. No. That's his rule. And he's always tormented over even when the bad guys die. Yeah. And, you know... I mean, Marvel movies haven't had a problem with that at all, but he hasn't killed any of his villains so far. Like, it's all been sort of self-inflicted almost. But so I think that's really cool. But yeah, it's still unclear if these are the... Doc Ock seems the most likely to be a similar one. Yeah. Green Goblin maybe...
But yeah,
I think it's going to be similar in the way, but I think they'll just have a small variant so they can get away with any little thing that they wanted to change a little bit. If that kind of makes sense. So they'll just be like, oh, this is from a different universe that pretty much everything the same happened, but one thing...
point, Electro wasn't blue, he turned yellow.
Yeah, I'm thinking they just don't explicitly acknowledge that these are the other franchises. It's like, oh, you know who these guys are. We don't have to say it, and we can just do slightly different things with them. Because although there is shots of Electro like where he's in the background and he looks like he's turning blue, so whether he comes through and it changes his powers or something, who knows? But it's all interesting. It's good to see Doc Ock back. He looks like, I like that he's not just the bad guy. Like, he's still that conflicted sort of dude. Yeah, looks like he gets the nanobots from his suit at some point, which is neat.
Good CGI, you know, bringing the original back.
Some parts. I thought the Green Goblin reveal, like him in the classic mask and stuff, looked a little iffy. And there's that shot of Electro as well, which also looks a bit cartoony. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, Eternals we talked about had very cartoony CGI in the third act, so that might just be a Marvel problem at this point.
Maybe. And then there's the last shot, or one of the last shots of the trailer that has a lot of people talking.
I'm going to play a quick game here. Can you name a Marvel trailer with like a big shot like that that's been changed? Go.
Infinity War.
I think everyone goes back to Infinity War and the fact that Hulk...
Infinity War or Endgame? Yeah, Infinity War.
No, it's Infinity War. Hulk wasn't there.
Then there's probably a few others, but I think Infinity War was the one that blew up in terms of the biggest changes to the trailer.
Civil War was Spider-Man, or one of them wasn't in one of the original ones when they're running.
Yeah, Spider-Man wasn't there originally. Yeah.
I guess there's not many that have been so secretive. Like, everything else has been pretty straightforward, whereas this one and Infinity War have been like the big culmination where everyone's like, we want to know. So I guess it makes sense that they're changing this one.
But it's pretty clear though, is this the simplest thing? Is everyone here, go have a look at the trailer again after this. It's pretty clear that with the way people are pointing and they're running or swinging or flying or whatever, that there's clearly two other people there.
Yeah, so it's
pretty obvious.
It's Tom Holland, Spider-Man facing off against... Sandman, Electro, and the Lizard, and they're kind of jumping 1v3, but they're all very like lined up
against something else. So,
but then the biggest clue is that in the Brazilian version of the trailer, I believe, there's a little second where it looks like Lizard gets punched by something. He's jumping forward, and all of a sudden his head flies back or whatever. Pretty big clue that something's hitting him, unless it was a weird error.
It looks so awkward, though. I think the animation now, because potential Spider-Man was erased. His neck looks so awkward. It looks like it's ragdolling, like the animation stretching.
Yeah, it could just be an animation glitch. I doubt it,
but
it could be.
I doubt it too.
Is this one of these things, though? As much as we say, like, oh my god, they've got rid of them in this. They have created that many hours worth of people talking and theorizing regarding this that you can't really complain about it, if it makes sense. Like, this is the best marketing technique nearly in a very long time.
Yeah.
Like, removing something just like this, just essentially, and then all the people who are like, there's that one like split second where Spider-Man's like sort of swung himself through that railing sort of thing, or scaffolding, and it's like, oh, he's been reskinned because his eyes are a little bit different. I'm like, how busy must the internet be? Like, you know, how many people are like looking, again, I did the same sort of thing. I was going very slowly through.
But even without analysing it, the leaks, you know, on that scaffolding and then watching the trailer, I did make that connection instantly. And clearly a lot of people did. And I think that's a huge hint, I think. That all the leaked photos with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield have been along this very specific set of scaffolding. And this just happens to be where we assume the final fight is going to take place at the Statue of Liberty, near or around that scaffolding.
So let's talk a couple of things in this trailer anyway, outside of just Spider-Man in general. So we see the Statue of Liberty. It looks like there's a Captain America shield with it. What are we theorising anything regarding
Does it have
this?
some text on it or something? I think it's just like a, look, Captain America's gone. Yeah. We pay tribute to him.
Yeah.
Easter egg more.
Endgame finished. I want to know how long after this happens because... Like, Homecoming took place
like
immediately after.
No, Homecoming was like 8 months after.
From Home. Yeah. So how long has it been? It's just little story details. But I think that's just just set dressing.
This one's like set straight after Far From Home. No, sorry, Home. The
Endgame?
The last Spider-Man.
Far From Home,
the one where they're in Europe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, is this like pretty much?
This is set like because they're swinging through
with Mary Jane.
Yeah, this is like a week
of course,
after.
Yeah.
So this is set like they're basically back to back essentially. And that one was 8 months after Endgame, I think it was.
Yeah. Makes that will take a while to build a giant shield for the Statue of Liberty. So there you go.
There you go. So,
8 months.
So in the end, like, what else sort of. Straight, we've got a question here. Does it live up to the hype? I think the trailer does because it's just got us all talking.
No, I meant that note was for the movie.
Oh, the movie itself. Yeah.
Should we? I'll come back to that because there's a few little interesting tidbits have come out since the trailer came out. First, there's been a lot of talk about the Sinister Six. Who's the sixth villain? Well, Michael Keaton just decided to blab and basically said that he's going to be filming more stuff as Vulture.
Yep.
So this was on Jimmy Kimmel. He was asked about Flash movie that he's also in, and then he's just like, I'm shooting more Vulture stuff as well tomorrow. So when they're doing... Which is a weird timing thing. Are they doing reshoots and retroactively adding him in? Or is he just doing some touch-up stuff?
I hope not. 3 weeks out. It's pushing it.
Who knows? But we don't... to be fair, he doesn't explicitly say...
What for?
If
he did, I think it'd be a bit...
We know he has a cameo in Morbius, so maybe it could be for that. But he's basically said, yes, I am going to be back as Vulture in some capacity, which so he could pop up in Spider-Man again. And then there's also a couple other little tidbits that came out from a GQ interview with Tom Holland. First is this great headline one that is this going to be his last ride as Spider-Man because his contract comes to an end at this film.
Yeah.
And so he's been talking about it, and I think the quote from GQ is, maybe it's time for me to move on. Maybe what's best for Spider-Man is that they do a Miles Morales film. If I'm playing Spider-Man after I'm 30, I've done something wrong. So... And then Amy Pascal from Sony, who's the big head honcho, she's saying, I want him to be Spider-Man forever because he's obviously done really well for them. Do you reckon he's hanging up the tights after this one?
Nah, I think it's pretty clear that they will have him continue for a very long time.
This might be the highest grossing Marvel film of all time. I don't think they're going to throw the biggest star away.
Is this going to be also the highest grossing Marvel film?
Yeah. What did I say?
Grossing.
Oh, what's my bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it depends on what happens with the deal. Like, if Sony takes Spider-Man back, maybe he's like, I don't want to be a part of that hot mess.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe where he's sitting.
He's keeping his options open
because I think in the end, like, they can just do a Miles Morales movie, but I think a lot of his story is great when there is
Peter.
Yeah, Peter is there. Like,
I think you have to. Yeah,
you can't having them there is important. I think.
Well, you at least have to have like Spider-Man die or something, like in the original Miles Morales stuff.
I don't know. I just feel like they
have been hyping this up though as like the end of a trilogy, not necessarily the end of Spider-Man, but they're like, this is the big culmination of all the Spider-Man stuff so far.
I feel like they were always talking that this was going to be the high school trilogy, and then they always talked about the college trilogy. There was like, we'll do the 3 high school ones, and then when he's older, we can sort of jump a little bit, and Tom can be, he'll be 28. He still looks young, but he can be playing a 20-year-old. He can be playing a 20-year-old, and all the other people in there are now a bit more adult.
I think the Sony contract threw that out the window a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have to please Sony now, because this movie we didn't think was going to be made early last year or last year.
I still think if it makes a lot of cash, I think they will still find a way to get it done because you just have to. In the end, it's better for Spider-Man that he's with the MCU than them pulling away. But in the end, we could talk about this for ages. Yeah.
And then one more little bit that came out. Now, this is something that sort of makes me think, gets me a little worried. Just overthinking everything. That apparently a bunch of Spider-Man No Way Home was rewritten on the day, particularly the ending. So Holland says that he was filming the ending, and there was parts of the script where he's saying, like, I don't believe what I'm saying. Like, he didn't feel like it was part of his character. Like, it's not something Peter Parker would do. So they sat down, went through it, pitched a new idea to the writers, and basically rewrote the ending last minute.
Yeah.
But also apparently GQ's reporting that the script for the whole movie was rewritten on an almost daily basis.
Promising.
Which
I think this happens a fair bit.
And Holland said, like, you could ask the director what happens in Act 3, and he goes, I don't know yet, I'm figuring it out. I'm sure it probably happens a lot more than we think. But when a movie is this sort of big in scale, you got to juggle a lot of pieces. Yeah. So,
is this an MCU on scale? Is so big though that like Feige's sitting there in his office? Oh, change this now. I want to like. If that kind of makes sense a little bit too, that all of this stuff is moving parts very quickly.
Yeah,
and maybe something hasn't worked in. I don't know, what else is Hawkeye that has had to connect with something else. Right. And it's like, oh shit, maybe we need to connect with this now. Maybe we need to change this. And I think
it might be that it's not major elements of the plot. Like it's more just dialogue. The writing. Yeah, like the dialogue and conversations and how relationships go, but not necessarily major plot events, which is probably better.
Is this a Marvel thing too, where not everyone gets the script? Also, like like they're changing a lot of stuff on the fly, also, so things don't get leaked too a little bit.
But maybe they're also
like an indirect thing.
Like with all these sort of throwback actors, they're probably relying a lot on actually getting these. So maybe deals were still dropping as the filming was going, and so they have to keep coming back and be like, "Oh, well, now I've got this guy. We've got to fit him in and have his parts resolve and everything."
It's like us talking last week with Doctor Strange getting redone in certain elements of like reshoots. It's like, well, maybe there was rumors this week of even just for split seconds Hugh Jackman and stuff coming back for literally just there was, like
a flash,
like a flash,
like he's flying past the portals. Yeah. Oh, there's the X-Men universe.
Or we just have that universe that's getting reshot for like a 5 seconds. Like, oh, maybe we do need to reshoot this, or we need to rewrite this because it connects in, and maybe you did get. Maybe it was like, well, we had Andrew, but then Toby came a bit later, and now we have to redo this scene and do that and things like that. So no, I find it interesting.
Which all that taken into account, can this movie possibly live up to the hype? Which like even more than Endgame, I feel like this is the one that's been more hyped, the most hyped Marvel film. And I think it's maybe just because Spider-Man kind of crosses all those boundaries. Like even with Iron Man and Captain America, I'd say he's still probably the most recognizable Marvel character.
Hands down.
So there's a lot.
And it's also a film franchise that's been going since 2002 in terms of being in the Marvel universe. Well, not universe, but a Marvel film. And that sustained longer than the original Iron Man 2008. So you've also got 6 years going back on the history of these films as well, which is interesting too. Because I think from a financial perspective, I'm talking to all the kids at school, and they've gone back and watched the Tobey Maguire films and the Andrew Garfield films in order to get ready for No Way Home. So it's very clever on Marvel, Sony's behalf to get this generation also, the 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds who love Spider-Man now, to go back and watch the other 5 films.
Yeah.
So it's...
I think there's a lot of moving pieces, and I feel like a lot of, like... the villains probably won't get as much screen time as we think they will. They'll pick 2. It'll be Doc Ock, Green Goblin, maybe a bit more Electro as well. They'll get some story, whereas, like that last shot in the trailer when the sky's lighting up with all the multiverse stuff, maybe Sandman and Lizard come out and they just have their brief fight and that's about it.
We know from Spider-Man 3's villains is enough, let alone 5, 6.
Yeah, but I think that thing is that's a whole nother movie cliche thing of like, you can have 10 villains come in the last 5 seconds. You don't need to have them all.
Yeah, I think it's where you spend your time.
And I think no more the problem with the Spider-Man 3 villains was you gave them heaps of time, you just didn't do well with it.
Marvel know better now to make that mistake.
Feige loves Spider-Man. He's not going to let it... Hopefully he's not going to let it mess up.
Anyway.
So...
There you go.
I hope so.
This episode's just on Spider-Man at the stage. We should get into a bit more of the news.
There's a fair bit of news lurking around this week.
Move on. Scarlett Johansson is working on a top secret Black Widow Marvel project. I'm about to sneeze.
Okay.
Bless you. So it turns out they're back on good terms after the whole lawsuit scandal. After that all got settled, so they're apparently working on a mystery project. Yeah, as I said, totally unrelated to Black Widow. Kevin Feige teased this while he was talking about Johansson. She was being awarded some American Cinematheque Award. Sure, whatever. I don't think there's much details. It's just, so Scarlett's producing this one. So who knows?
Could some female-led project, maybe.
I think they said it's nothing to do with her character. Yeah. So, I mean, could that be like a Yelena Belova thing? Yeah. Some other, another separate
Black Widow universe, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's as good as mine at this stage.
Good to see they're still.
The key word in there is Marvel, because some people were originally saying she was maybe helping out with Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie that he was looking at doing. So he's producing those, but that's saying she's going to produce, not star in it. So that probably changes that.
Yeah, interesting. Bit more Marvel news.
Yeah, Daredevil.
The rumours keep coming. Apparently, a casting sheet has leaked. So Marvel is supposedly casting for a new Daredevil project. Not much more details on that. Other than their casting, they're looking for it. Of course, there's been all those rumours and supposed leaks of Charlie Cox being in Spider-Man No Way Home, adding to a more overstuffed cast. What do you hope? Like, if they do happen, do you want a film? Do you want a TV show? What do you reckon?
TV show.
Season 4?
Yeah.
Well, I think more this opens up the world again that the current Daredevil stuff is going to be variants.
Yeah.
So that will be another universe, but all these actors will come back, and essentially what they'll just say is these last 3 seasons happened, but in a different universe. So similar stuff sort of happened.
Multiverse. And they'll just, what a great way to get around
they'll get around it by being like, oh yeah, no, a lot of that stuff sort of happened, but we've now got a new Elektra or something because we can't get her back. Or
do you reckon like Spider-Man will kind of like Flashpoint? Yeah, is supposedly do where it unifies a bunch of separate multiverses, like maybe at the end some spell it malfunctions a little bit and it's like, oh, some parts of the other universe has been brought into ours, so Matt Murdock stays, like he's part of this now, and it's just kind of become part of.
I think they'll just say they've set up variants enough just to be like,
they just don't worry about it.
They'll just be like, we're starting, what you're saying is like season 4, but they'll call it season 1.
Right.
But they'll just be like, we don't need to say how he was Daredevil again because this stuff already happened. But they might change the way like the hand's done, or like sort of thing, like they could redo them better for MCU style things, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
because I reckon they'll just bring back Wilson Fisk. They'll bring back those guys. But
bring back D'Onofrio. He was great.
Yeah, and I think that's the easiest way that they can do it is just saying, oh, well, this is a variant of the one you saw in the TV show.
Yep,
and just the ass sort of stuff happened.
Yep.
Instead of then that's probably an easy one. Would you say?
I guess once you get to multiverses, it's an easy out, I guess.
Yeah,
but you'd probably want them to be.
I think they'll say literally the last 3 seasons exactly what happened, but they won't specifically say because they don't own the right. Like if that kind of
Yeah, well, we just have to see if Spider-Man gets transferred to another universe. It all relies on Spider-Man potentially. Yeah. Anyway, sort of going on from that to some Star Wars news. So I don't know if we mentioned it last week, but Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron Star Wars film, which was announced last year in that big fanfare. There was a big dramatic sort of slow-mo walking thing.
Was it about her that her father was a pilot and this is the biggest project she's ever going to do,
and
et cetera, et cetera.
Sounded cool, different perspective to Star Wars. It's not just a Jedi stuff. It's been shelved. Potentially indefinitely. So apparently there's reports from the Hollywood Reporter that issues revolved around the film's script and that Jenkins and the studio executives couldn't agree on how to move forward. This is apparently, quote, laughably recurring problem at Lucasfilm, and this has happened to Rian Johnson's other Star Wars trilogy, I think he was working on. So that's apparently also been shelved, and apparently it also happened with the Game of Thrones guys who were working on something but then bailed because it was just not working.
So whose issue is it?
Well, I think
there seems like to be a common thread.
Yes.
The
Kathleen Jenkins? Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy has signed another 3-year deal to be head of Lucasfilm for another 3 years. But I feel like you can be head of a studio that's again done nothing. It's pushing out the Mandalorian. We're going to get Boba Fett.
Some horrible Star Wars sequels.
But it's like
Ahsoka, Obi-Wan.
When's the next movie coming out?
I think maybe that's what they can't settle on. Like what the next movie is going to be.
Because for a while, since 2015, I thought it was going to be a Star Wars movie every year.
So did they.
Rogue One. That was the idea. It was going to be
that'd be year on the main trilogy, year off.
Rise of Skywalker, I think, put the nail in it, didn't it? Really,
but I think that's I don't know if I reckon you are on a similar page to respect of like it's probably because everyone's had enough of that. I just want them to do a story 2,000 years before or 2,000 years later and just have a
KOTOR kind of
just have a story. Just give me a story of these guys. Because the Patty Jenkins one did sound just interesting. Just give me a script. Just give me a story.
Yeah.
Just have it in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, like we said, a Knights of the Old Republic movie would be fantastic.
It doesn't also have to be something that's already been done that we're redoing for film.
No.
Just that would be. I'm saying that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
But just because I feel like that's the scripts that they never get done. Just pick some random characters. Have Connor Cutts and Mason on a bloody spaceship and
can we do that?
Can we? Yeah,
but then just give us a story of these guys in this universe. Doesn't have to be lightsabers or whatever. Just
Kathleen
have
Kennedy,
these cool.
you listening?
It's a wide galaxy.
Yeah,
there's heaps of stuff going on.
Yeah, there's apparently the article says that there's been a bunch of top filmmakers who've been keen to do stuff with Star Wars, but they've been hampered by issues of micromanagement and plot point by committee processes. So it sounds like, I don't know if it's Kathleen Kennedy. I think that the article mentions a specific VP who's not her that there's been clashes with.
Is there a problem coming soon where if they don't do anything outside of these couple of TV shows and Obi-Wan, etc., that Star Wars will, lose public consciousness at some point with it? Not majorly, but it's like your point, Jack. They were supposed to have one every year. It was supposed to be December was Star Wars time.
It's going to be the new Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Think about it. The Return of the Jedi was 1983, and we didn't have the Phantom Menace till 99.
Yeah.
And there was another 10 years between Force Awakens and Revenge. So
there's merit to waiting.
2 years.
There's fine with it waiting.
I don't think it will go out of public.
It's just problem that 6 or 7 now, I think that's a number, very what you just said, well-known and respected directors have all said yes to coming to this studio and working with Disney. So it's not just working with Lucasfilm, this is working with Disney, and then have had problems where they're like, I don't want to work here anymore, I'm leaving. So then you're going to have to go and get the guy who makes bloody Fantastic Four, for example, like because he had one at some point. Josh Trank. Yeah, but as you're going to have to go get unknown directors to do stuff. I don't know if it's going to work.
We should Marvel's had this issue as well, where like Scott Derrickson just recently exited Doctor Strange 2, creative differences. Yeah. I don't know if Lucasfilm have that Feige. They've got Dave Filoni who does all the TV stuff, and he does really well, and he's running it really well. I don't know if they've got that for the films.
Kathleen Kennedy doesn't seem to be that person.
I think she's more just like, she's just the company head.
Yeah.
I think maybe they're a bit unsure of what to do with Star Wars now, I think, because they would have had to see the reaction to obviously The Last Jedi, and then even more so, not more so, I'd say there was probably more indifference towards The Rise of Skywalker. Like, people were just like, whatever, we're done.
Yeah.
So I think they're unsure. Do we rely on more nostalgia? Do we go more Skywalker stuff, or do we go in a new direction? If so, what new direction?
Yeah.
Tricky. I don't envy them. It's a tough decision.
Or is it them just relying on TV now and just doing that for a couple of years so they keep people around? I don't know. I think with them not being in movies, though, I'm saying now, Jack, I get it. 2 years is not long. If it gets to 5 years, though, and they haven't put a movie out...
See, I don't think there's a problem with the waiting.
Yeah.
I
just think it's money being wasted at some point.
But not if you've got that other revenue stream from the TV shows.
Yeah. They've already made their money back. I just think at some point... I don't know. I just think they need to be starting to make some movies.
The anticipation behind a movie, if you wait 5 years, 10 years, 15,
but I think the anticipation... No, I
bigger box office.
No, but I completely agree. I just think at some point Star Wars will... They need to be selling toys. They need to be selling... But they do. They make...
Star Wars, I think, it's one of those pillar franchises. Yeah. It's like Bond.
Yeah.
Like, we waited 5 years for the last Bond film. Everyone's still excited to see it. You know what I mean? Like, it's always going to be there. I think that waiting isn't going to do any more damage to the name than perhaps has arguably already been done.
Yeah. Just wait for them to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Harry Potter cast. Does anyone care?
I like Harry Potter.
So all 3 original Harry Potter cast members coming back for a 20th anniversary special on HBO Max. There's a 20th anniversary of the release of the Philosopher's Stone or the Sorcerer's Stone, depending where you are.
Is this going to be like the Friends one where they're going to walk into the set? Oh my God, they're going to hug and kiss.
It sounds kind of like it.
Yeah. Is there who's going to be hosting this? Is it James Corden's coming back?
Well, J.K. Rowling has been told that she's definitely not coming on. I think.
That's probably a good decision.
But I think, who do we got? Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and Rupert Grint, and maybe
Chris Columbus, who directed the first 2 films, will be there. There's a fair few, actually, I didn't realise were going to be coming. Helena Bonham Carter, Ray Fiennes, Jason Isaacs, Gary Oldman. A fair collection. Tom Felton, Draco's going to be there.
How about Hagrid?
Robbie Coltrane. He'll be there. He'll be there.
Yeah.
I think the Weasley twins will be there. Ginny will be there. Longbottom will be there.
I mean, what else are they doing? None of them really have that big a career.
They probably
since.
get that big a payday.
Yeah.
This is a tangent. Did you see the scandal with the Weasley twins? No. There was some quiz night supposed quiz night company who was selling tickets to a Harry Potter themed quiz night that apparently had an appearance from the Weasley twins. Yeah. It's all a scam. People forked out like hundreds of dollars. Yeah. And a current affair down here interviewed the Weasley twins like, we had no idea what was going on. Tangent, just something funny. It shows you how much hype the Harry Potter name still carries. Yeah. But yeah, it sounds like it's just going to be the Friends thing.
Yeah. Does that interest you?
I'll watch it. I quite like a bit of HP. So,
which is your favourite one?
Prince of Azkaban as a movie, and maybe Deathly Hallows.
As a book?
As a book, yeah.
Still haven't read the books.
That's fine. You've got time. They've only been around for 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah.
A bit longer than that.
I think reunions are going to become a cheap and easy way to do.
Just get people to sign up to HBO Max.
Yeah, it's another little bonus. And especially that kind of like dedicated fandom who are going to hunt anything to do with it.
And then get some talking again of... I feel like that's more likely that they're going to bring back some sort of story. Like Warner Bros. Like they're obviously doing the movies now, but they'll do something else with those guys when they're in their 40s and 50s, I feel, 100%. Yeah. They'll bring their kids back. And I know they've got the whatever one they're doing or whatever, but they'll create some more.
Yeah.
And these guys will happily be in it, and they'll just create stories and they'll go from there.
Yeah.
They'll have to. So, Judd's Halo TV series coming next year?
Yeah. Connor, you want to take this one?
Sure.
You're very tired.
I feel like I've taken all of them. Yep, so they've, after lots of rigmarole with a Halo movie and then TV show, it actually appears like one's finally coming out. It's going to be coming on Paramount Plus in 2022. Yeah. No specific date, but we got a little teaser, which is just showing Master Chief putting his suit on.
Yeah,
he's got
ominous scarred back.
Yeah, he's been through all his magic surgeries, and I think we hear the voice of Cortana, who the original actress comes back to voice as well, which is
fantastic.
Cool. Interesting. Yeah, that's really all we got.
Good. It's one of those TV shows that I feel like needs to rely on so much CGI.
Yeah.
With, live action, they may as well have just done
like a deep, very good
like
CGI.
An animation or a really good CGI.
Is this going to be like
or the game?
The pillar of Paramount Plus? Like this is because I can't think of any other shows that are like the exclusive on that.
Pillar of Autumn.
The Isuzu Ute A-League is the...
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Apart from the A-League.
Yeah. That's a debacle this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that seems like it'll be the big one to get
like across
if they can pull it off.
And this was all announced at the Microsoft 20th Xbox anniversary as well, should we add?
It was. Well. There was another little Halo surprise. The multiplayer for Halo Infinite got dropped about a month before it was actually supposed to release. Yeah. So they're calling it a beta at the moment, so I think that's in case there's bugs, they can still say they're ironing it out. But yeah, free multiplayer is out and about right now on PC and Xbox.
Yeah, and single player is still meant to be released, I think, on the 8th of December so is
on
this
Xbox
and PC.
Trying to hit the market of all the classic shooters at the moment, online multiplayer shooters? They try and hit that market, I guess.
They had announced earlier that they were going to do it as free to play. Still a bold move. Yeah. Like, this is one of the big shooting franchises going free to play. Yeah. Like this is if Call of Duty went free to play. It's pretty big. Yeah. But apparently it seems like it's been a big success. I think I saw somewhere 250,000 people playing at once at Steam at some point.
Yeah.
It's doing really well.
Yeah. I'm liking it. You're liking it.
We'll talk a bit more about that later.
Yeah. Next one.
But yeah.
Elder Scrolls 6. All but confirmed as an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, so we kind of thought this was going to happen. Oops, I've closed the tab. I need to keep open. After Xbox acquired Bethesda last year, there was discussion. It's like, is the next Elder Scrolls or whatever going to be Xbox exclusive? Seems like it. And you can understand why. Obviously, Phil Spencer is very he talks a lot we don't want to, we're for the gamers. We don't want to curse anyone out, but also we want to make money.
A multi-billion-dollar deal. This is the way to get it back.
So he's basically, he's said it without saying it. He said, it's not about punishing any other platform, but in order to be on Xbox, I want to be able to bring the full, complete package of what we have. And that would be true when I think about Elder Scrolls 6. That would be true when I think about any of our franchises. So...
Sounds very polite.
It's a nice way of saying get stuff PlayStation. Yeah. Potentially. Not ruling out it could be like a timed exclusive thing, like it's on Xbox for 2 years and then you get it on PlayStation, but there's plenty of arguments for why they'd keep it to themselves. Again, one of the a massive franchise, lots of dollars for Xbox, who doesn't necessarily have a great first-party stable until now.
Yeah, and Skyrim just had their 10th anniversary, and it's to this day, it's one of, it's selling everywhere, all over the world very well. Yeah,
they're still selling that game new. Yeah. They keep redoing it and selling it as a new thing.
Yeah, mods help, Yeah,
amazing. Just unfortunate for PlayStation owners, but if you like Jack and you've got everything, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I did see this one, this next bit of news, and I was excited, actually.
Oh. Remind me what it is because I haven't got the list up. I'm
Warner Brothers
jumping
Smash
between.
Bros. Light game officially revealed. I saw some characters. I was actually like, oh.
That's right. Hold on, let me pull it up. So Multiverses.
Yeah.
Which is the title. Clever name. And it's a more multiverse stuff.
Warner Brothers Super Smash Brothers.
Yes. Yeah. And it actually kind of... It's going to be a free-to-play game on the console, so I think there was some speculation, because it got leaked last week, and we talked about it on the episode, but it's actually going to be on consoles, not mobile at this stage.
Good. Yeah.
And so far, the roster looks like this, and that's actually pretty wacky. So you've got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, right? You've got Bugs Bunny, cool. You got Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Did he do his voice?
Shaggy's? Or?
Yeah, Shaggy's.
You got Tom and Jerry as well, dude.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah,
Tom and Jerry. You got Finn and Jake from Adventure Time. You got Arya Stark from Game of Thrones. You've got and then a couple from Steven Universe, which I haven't seen, but everyone loves. Oh, and Harley Quinn's in there as well. So pretty, you forget how much Warner Bros. has.
I think Harry Potter will be in there.
Surely.
Yeah.
Surely they'll be in there. There's a lot of characters they could fit in. But yeah, they showed off sort of a bit of a run through of everything, a trailer with sort of a developer walkthrough. They glimpse of the gameplay. It doesn't look too bad, actually. It looks a lot like a bit more polished than that Nickelodeon one that came out a few weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, yeah.
It looks a bit sharper, and it's got a cool little animated style and everything to it.
I think because the voice actors are coming back to voice these characters.
Kevin Conroy's back and everything. I think
Matthew Lillard or whatever is to do Shaggy.
Yep. Maisie Williams. Maisie is back as Arya as well. So promising, and there's plenty of potential for more characters and stuff. So exciting. I can't remember when it's coming out.
Oh, I don't think any proper release date, but sometime.
Someone said Austin Powers could be in it.
Oh, yeah,
maybe not.
Yeah.
2022 sometime. But yeah, it looks interesting.
And
then to bring it to a downer, I thought this last little bit of news. So obviously, about a couple months ago, I can't remember how long this has been going on. We talked a little bit about the Activision Blizzard scandals, sort of all the terrible stories that are coming out about the treatment of female staff, people of color. I can't look. It was very bad. It was rife in that company to put it simply. I can't even talk. But it's been bubbling away. There's been lots of departures and changes been going on at the company. But this is possibly the biggest update in a little while. So there's new reports out that CEO Bobby Kotick, who's been I'd say he's pretty semi-regularly in headlines because he's the head of Activision. Big company, and I think there's a lot of stories back there.
Most gamers would have seen his face whether they know it or not, I think.
I think there was a lot of him being like, he takes massive bonuses when other staff don't. So he's been the centre of some controversy over the years, but it's gotten worse now because there's been a report from the Wall Street Journal that he's also been involved and had accusations of terrible treatment of women as well. So he's become like just another...
tip of the iceberg.
Yeah, exactly right. Like he's the head of this company, and he's also been, if not partaking, at least aware of the allegations of this terrible stuff that's been happening and done nothing about it. Allegedly. Don't want to be sued. So there's plenty of calls now for him to be fired. I think he's said now that he's open to quitting if he can't change. This is just the headline I saw. He's open to resigning if he can't fix the issues, which is a strange thing to say when you are potentially
the issue
at the root of this. I think he's... I should have written this down, but I believe he's got the support of the board or something.
He does.
Some board members at least at the moment. But there's plenty of calls for things to change in Activision, even more so, including from Xbox. So Phil Spencer has come out and said he sent an email to staff at Xbox saying that he's disturbed and deeply troubled by what's been happening at Activision Blizzard. This type of behavior has no place in our industry, and is apparently saying that he's going to make they'll make proactive adjustments to their relationship with the company going forward. Didn't specify anything further than that. And I believe PlayStation not CEO, but Jim Ryan, who's also high up in there, has also come out and said similar things. Like, it has no place. They haven't committed to any necessarily action, but they've openly condemned it, which I think is a good thing. Yeah. But we'll have to see what comes of it.
It's collapsing around him, isn't it? That's pretty sad and just... devastating for everyone in the company who's not involved.
I was messing around on stocks the other day, and I had a look at the stocks for Blizzard, and
it's gone down.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. They've gone from... all their games have been delayed out of this year. Like Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2 was supposed to come out, I think, next year as well, but they've been delayed even further.
2023.
All this shit's been happening. Call of Duty can only make so much money.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, it's
that's why it's not gone free to play.
Yeah. So your bad situation gets worse, basically. So we're ending on it down here. I think it's an important conversation to have and to talk about. But yeah, we'll keep an eye out and see what happens. I think he probably should resign, even if you're not, even if these allegations are false. Like the person of his treatment, like, can you stay in that job? With that
stuff,
with that storm around you. Yeah. Anyway,
let's make things a little bit happier.
Let's get festive.
Far out, Jack. This is your favourite time of the year, and you're a bit up and about. You're a bit tired a little bit before.
I am tired still. But
sorry, I bored you with all that news.
Let's get into it.
Jack, can I ask you a question first?
Yes.
Do you put your Christmas decorations up before December?
Yeah, they're already up. We put the tree up on Saturday. Anyway.
God damn.
We are now officially talking about the best binges for the holiday season. So like Will said at the beginning of the episode, you're about to go on for your 2-week break or month break or 2-month break if you're a teacher. What are you going to sit down and watch or play? And we're going to give you the best recommendations of a TV show, a good solid movie, go out to cinemas, or an amazing game just to sit down and finish off.
So essentially this is right now like a really big show and tell segment.
Yeah.
And it's also some things that we haven't seen that we're going to want to see at this time too.
I think we've all come at this topic from different angles. So I saw this and I went, right, I'm just going to figure out the best things that, they might not be the most recent, but good things you could just sit down and you're going to want to keep watching or playing. Because that's my logic for this one.
Yeah, I liken it to like you're sitting on the couch, your whole fam's there, you've just stuffed yourself with some food.
Yep.
Or you've had a couple too many drinks. It's like sort of 7:30 and you're like, what can we watch? But, you know, Dad's got the remote and you're like, everyone sits around and goes, what should we see now? And you're like, far out. No, I've got my list. I'm going to go back to the podcast list and I'm going to go, we're going to put on this show or this movie. And it's a perfect thing to watch with the family or with some people around or play a game, essentially. So,
Jack, how are you tackling it?
I'm tackling it by giving you the latest and greatest games to play. So games, movies, and television shows that have more or less just been released, just in case you're on it and you're.
So we're kind of like.
All going at different
I'm the ghost of Christmas past. You're the ghost of Christmas present.
Yeah.
And you're the ghost of the future.
I like it.
Festive theme. It's all come back together.
So we're just going to go bounce through this. I'm going to set us to like maybe a 60-second on each sort of rough timer.
Yep. Okay.
Just because we could talk on for ages for a lot of
How
these
long have we been going
We're going for 40 minutes.
Damn.
So just to give us... I'm not going to tell you to stop.
We'll just keep, as long as the ideas keep flowing.
Maybe I should have got some a Christmas like Buble music without, and then just.
It's too early for Buble music. He's still defrosting.
Jack, when did you start playing Buble?
I don't know, but I got a new song called Christmas Sweater, and I started listening to that yesterday. Fantastic. Anyway,
okay, Jack, do you want to go first?
Since you love Christmas the most.
So I'm just going to start with a game that we've spoken in previous episodes about that took me and both you. Well, you can chime in by surprise, which is the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which is out for Xbox and PlayStation, and I think Switch as well to that extent too.
I think they're doing like a cloud version.
Yeah, but it blew me out of the water. I love this game. It's a third-person action shooter that pretty much could be set between, I guess, the first and second Guardians films. And it's you play as Star-Lord, and it's a bit of a teamwork between the other 4 or 5 Guardians as they attempt to, tackle a new threat without giving spoilers.
So when you think about this game over the festive period, is this like I could smash this all out in a couple of days when I got some time off?
If you want a good single player experience and haven't experienced something along the lines of Uncharted, just a good linear, fantastic narrative. I think you could probably binge this in a good maybe 3 days. It's a bit longer than some games. It's probably about 16 to 20 hours. But it's a fun ride. It's half movie, I would say, half game. And if you love the MCU, it's right up your alley.
I'll keep it short. I think this is an excellent thing. Just, you got a couple of days. You want a bit of a shoot up, bit nice story. You'll absolutely love it. And I think it's probably the most sort of out there thing that we thought was going to be shit. We've spoken about this heaps on the show that we thought it was going to be shit, and it's been bloody excellent. So when it comes to something, I think a great binge.
And it's on sale and Black Friday sales as well. Yeah. So if you're listening to this and you look up, good Amazon Prime deal, you can snap it up for cheap.
Yeah. I am tempted. Maybe. We'll see.
If you've got time, I think I would definitely play it.
Okay.
It's excellent. I'll just put our show and tell into this right now anyway. It's fine for this week, I think, give or take. I've finished it. It was bloody excellent. So it's very good. So
cool.
Loved it. Connor, next for you.
I'll stick with the games theme. Yeah. I'm going to throw in, it's a little older. Of course, that's my theme for the day. I'm going to go Hollow Knight. the indie Metroidvania kind of side-scrolling adventure game made right here in Adelaide by Team Cherry. I think this is a really good binge because it just gets its hooks into you.
Yeah.
And it's that one where when you don't have a lot to do, you can sink a lot of time into this. And this game's great because there's always just that sense of discovery. You're wandering through this massive world, uncovering these new areas, and the story's developing in the background. It's not something you have to necessarily be switched on to, but you're getting all these little visual clues and stuff, and it's just super satisfying to explore. So basically, it just gets its hooks into you, and you always want to go, I just want to go see what's around that corner. I want to keep going. I want to keep pushing. And I loved it when I played it, and I didn't even have months off for Christmas. I just kept coming back and wanting to see more and more and more. So I think it's really good for that. It's kind of that sort of not almost one more level mentality. It's like, well, I've got nothing else to do. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep playing. And there's so much to explore. The combat is great. It's a beautiful world as well. The music, the animation is beautiful. There's all these little secrets, all these little nooks and crannies. So you can get as much out of it or as little out of it as you want. But it's top-notch from start to finish. And I think it's just one of those things you can get lost in for hours if you really want to.
Where can I play that again, sir?
You can get that on pretty much everything, I'm pretty sure. PlayStation, Switch, PC, Xbox. Most major platforms, I think. It's been out for a few years now. It'll hopefully get you prepped for the sequel, which we haven't heard about for a little while, but hopefully might come out next year.
Well, very good. I'm going to hit everyone up quickly with one that we've spoken about a million times on the show. Have you watched it yet still or not? You've watched Ted Lasso, haven't you, Connor?
No.
So this is my whole point of it. Is Ted Lasso. Again, everyone loves this show. It's a lot of people are like, why is this a thing? Then you get there, it's the best show on TV, I still think, at the moment. It reminds me a lot of, if we're talking festive stuff, of if you've seen it, or even 3 of the 4 people in your family that have seen it, and you want to show someone else, this is the perfect show to show someone else. And you'll have a great time with it, and you'll get to the point of, I reckon you'll get through all 20, 22 episodes very quickly, and it will become your show you'll watch at the end of the night with the family because it's great, lovable characters. It's a good story. If you're not a football fan, it doesn't matter.
I'm not quite through season 2, but it's the perfect heartwarming thing for Christmas.
That's the other thing is, like, as much as we're going to get season 3 next year, and the stuff that happens at the end of the season is great. And I feel like it's just, you smash 2 episodes out as a night with the family as everyone's having a little drink, and then they go off and watch the other thing that they want to. But if you want a bit of quality family time while you're watching something, I think this is nearly the perfect watch. And I reckon as you're moving into your new place, Connor, I'd give this one definitely a go.
Depends if my roommates have seen it or not.
Yeah.
I don't want to. If they haven't seen it, we might all watch it together. That'd be kind of cute. But we'll see. This is also kind of like a gift guide, because you could also be like, oh, we'll give you an Apple TV voucher for Christmas.
Yeah,
we'll get you a Hollow Knight for Christmas.
That's actually a really good one. That's actually a good idea.
I think it's part of this. I think we'll wrap it in.
Yeah, because I don't know. Do you guys do family? I'm devoting off now. Family Kris Kringles with like extended family, or is it just with you, like your niche?
Well, we just do. There's just the four of us in the family, so we get each other gifts.
So we get stuck with like the 18 of us.
Oh wow! Shit.
So like gifts to give. Cousin, no, but you have to give. You just got to give the one.
Yeah.
It's like a $50 limit now. It's fine because if I get you as another bloke, just gonna get you some beers and socks. So nice. That's easy. So that's what I've got to. Again, I don't know if my cousins listen to this now, but
spoilers.
It's like I've got one of them, but I'm like, I don't want to go just beers. Even though it's the easiest thing to do. But I'm like, I don't know what sort of voucher, whereas I think that's actually not a bad way of doing it.
I got given a binge voucher for my birthday this year. And great. You get that's 3 months of entertainment, essentially.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Like, go to your, and they sell these vouchers everywhere. Woolies, Coles, like Target. Just get a voucher, like a streaming service voucher. It's a good, I think you get your value out of it, for sure. Because
in the end, anyway, they're paying for it. So you're just paying for theirs for that's actually great. I'm going to do that now. So
there you go.
Sorry, whoever I have.
Ruin the surprise. Jack, give us another.
Yeah.
Well, you got me off. Love Hard, which is a new Christmas rom-com Netflix film. And I know you're thinking Netflix film.
Can you binge a film? That's my question for you.
This one probably takes a bit of effort to get through, but I would definitely recommend it.
Sound like a chore.
Across about a 90-minute period. But it's about an LA girl who falls for a guy on a dating app. Classic. And she goes over to find him and realize she's been catfished. And it's a bit generic, but it's out of all the Netflix Christmas films, I think if you've watched, Ghosts of Girlfriends Past or whatever the one with Vanessa Hudgens is, where she's got the twin princess, whatever.
The Princess Switch?
That's the one. There's been a lot over the years, and I think this is probably one of the better Netflix Christmas films. So if you've watched all the classics, the Love Actuallys, and you've seen all the other D-grade Netflix Christmas films, this one kind of comes on top for the 2021 season. Stars Nina Dobrev and Jimmy O Yang, which you know from, is it Silicon Valley?
Correct.
Yes. So, and they're great. The chemistry between them is fantastic. And I would say for a quick 90-minute film, I would say, get amongst it on Netflix.
I love when Jack puts a little bit of flair on the names. He's a man of culture. He's a man of culture. We know that.
Is this another question for you, Jack, though, is if people haven't seen these in the last couple of years, what's the best Netflix Christmas movie over the last couple of years? Because I know you watched them. I'm putting you on the spot here, sorry. But
I would probably say Love Hard.
Okay, you would say?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's probably one I can maybe think. There was something a couple of years ago, but this would probably be on top from recent memory at least. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Connor?
I'm going to go recent-ish for this one. Auntie Donna's Big Old House of Fun.
Yes.
If you just want to laugh, which we all do over the festive period, and it's a perennially Australian laugh, and you love wacky, surreal, really just out there humour, this is the perfect show for you. Only 6 episodes. You can smash through it in a night, which I have. I've watched this, I think, 4 or 5 times now since it's come out because it's just such an easy one to chuck back on. Yeah. They just rapid fire so many jokes at you that you're inevitably going to forget some of them. But I have a great time every single time. It's just classic Aussie, not even classic Aussie humour. It's just really funny, like subversive humour in a way. And by extension, I'd also say you could also binge all their YouTube stuff as well. And coming into the Christmas season, they are probably most well known for their Christmas Pud video.
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, thoroughly recommend it. So my recommendation is Auntie Donna in general. I think
it's just stupid fun, isn't it?
It is
really stupid comedy.
It's not something you have to think about. It's not there is some wordplay and stuff, and there are probably jokes that are more subtle than others. Yeah. But some of them are just ridiculously over the top, and super fun.
Will.
So next I've got, it hasn't come out yet.
But
no, but I'm going with Hawkeye. So the Hawkeye series that comes out in like 3 days. I feel like this is the perfect mix, as we know, if you've seen the trailers or a lot of the stuff that's coming out, has a very festive theme around it.
Yep.
And I feel like as a Marvel show, whether you wait 3 or 4 weeks and you want to watch all of the 6 episodes? 6 episodes?
6 episodes.
6 episodes as we get up to Christmas, then you do that. Or I think this would be a perfect thing to catch up with your Marvel shows with your family, if you're a Marvel family. So I know we'll be watching each episode as they get released, but I feel like some of my family will be like, oh no, I'll hold out and we'll just watch.
I feel like this might be one for the whole fam. It doesn't look too connected to the rest of the MCU, and it looks like a very much a family, just cute Christmas affair.
It's the Home Alone of Marvel movies.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Home
Alone of Marvel shows.
Sometimes need. So I feel like this is going to be a good Christmas binge. You sit down with the family and are going to hopefully enjoy yourself.
There's not many Marvel trailers I watch and think, this looks cute. But it does. it really does. It just looks like they don't take anything too seriously, which I originally thought they were going to for this Hawkeye series. And it might get a bit more serious going into it. But because it's set at Christmas and based off the trailers, it just looks very lighthearted and fun.
Hawkeye's got to get home for Christmas. So I feel like I can already see the end of this show is going to be Christmas Eve. Him and Kate Bishop are going to finally beat the bad guys, and then he's going to walk through that farm door on Christmas Day, and the turkey's going to be there, and he's going to bring her in and their family. You know what I mean?
He's going to cut up with a Zarro.
Yeah, something like. I can feel like that's going to be the final shot of the show. So, I'm looking at that as something that's I'm rather interested about.
Something you'll be binging at least.
Yeah, I will be, and I think it will be a very popular show over the Christmas period. Smart way to connect it all together with that. Jads?
Very nice. Well, I've given a game and a movie, and I'm going to give a new TV show called Cowboy Bebop, based off the popular anime series from the late 90s. So this one's about a ragtag crew of bounty hunters, and it's each episode pretty much is them taking down a different criminal from various galaxies, and there's a kind of continuous thread storyline as well. But it stars John Cho?
John Cho, yep.
Yeah, I didn't want to butcher another name. And Mustafa Shakir. No, I've butchered that.
Couldn't tell you.
But both play the two main characters of Spike and Jet, and the chemistry is fantastic, and John Cho is his funny self, Harold and Kumar kind of days. I love him. If you're a fan of the anime, I think a lot of people aren't necessarily loving this because of the comparisons. Yeah. But if you go in not really seeing much of the anime or just fresh off the boat, I think if you love something like
is that
something to do with space,
is that a say?
It's not a saying for that.
I'm making it up for this episode and for this show.
Let's move on.
What's the show that was set in space? Cowboys a couple of years ago.
Firefly.
It gets very
10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago.
Very reminiscent of Firefly. I get those vibes, and I think if you like sci-fi and kind of the anime origins, I think this is right up your alley. 10 episodes, came out 2 days ago. Get on it.
I am interested in that one. I haven't seen the anime. I know it's widely regarded as one of the best anime of all time. So I'm interested to see how that...
100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah. It's high stakes, but I haven't seen it, so fresh eyes. I'll get an obvious one out of the way. Squid Game.
Yeah.
We had a whole episode on this, so I won't say too much about it, but thoroughly recommend it. We all can, from memory, from what we said on the show. It's just a good mystery, good thriller that kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat and keeps you guessing. There's always a cliffhanger at the end of every episode, so you've always just got that one more episode. And when you've got plenty of time, why not just watch one more episode? Indulge.
If you haven't watched it yet, you should be ashamed of yourself. But
it's a good time to catch up.
But I think, again, Jack, a lot of people are busy, so this is the time when they got to watch something.
Some people have social lives, Jack. Not me, but other people.
Not us, but yeah.
To the similar point there, Con, I'm talking Morning Wars on Apple TV. So, are you up to date with this, Jack? Or no?
I watched the first 2 episodes of season 2, but struggled to get back into it, probably due to my memory of the first season.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
That's a poor effort of easing you into it, I think, after a year or 2 years since season 1.
Yeah, so my thoughts are regarding picking this one is the final episode's out, so it's fully there for a proper binge if you want to get through the 10 or 8 episodes that's got there. And I feel like this is the show. I always think sometimes with Christmas is I find it easy to find something to watch with my dad because you find Marvel stuff, whatever. What's something I can watch with Mum? When you go with Mum, like, she's not going to watch Marvel or Hawkeye, or she'll sit there and be like, oh, no, I'm not really interested. Whereas I feel like a Morning Wars show is something I know she's seen, and I know she'll be interested in the characters because if you got Jennifer Aniston and Reese lots of spoons, you'll be fine. So I think in the end, like, that's something that I look at for picking this show is, well, you know what? What's Mum going to... You know, want to watch 2 or 3 episodes with Mum on a Wednesday afternoon when everything's shut. Let's chuck Morning Wars on, and I think she does enjoy that show. So that's why I'm picking.
Have you finished season 2?
No, that's what I'm saying is I haven't even started. Okay. I've watched the first episode of season 2.
And season 1's fantastic. I can at least guarantee that.
Yeah, so that's what my thoughts are regarding this. Is you know what, I can happily watch this with her and my sister, and they're going to enjoy it. So that's what I'm excited to get on the TV at some point. Apple TV, they're 2 good things that they do. Other than that,
is that it?
That's basically it at the moment.
You got anything else, Connor?
No, I'm still thinking. You go next.
I've given my favourite TV show, movie, and game. So if you guys have any extras to add.
No, I just think when you sit around the Christmas, I feel like in the end, if we're talking Black Friday sales, obviously coming up soon, there's always a good Switch deal, so you can get a Switch. I think it's the ideal family game console for this festive period. Anyone can pick it up so they can have some fun. So you're thinking Mario Kart, always a thing that I bring out on Christmas Day, or you're going out to the beach with everyone. Yep. You've got to bring your Switch down just because when everyone's sitting there like, what do? Bring Switch out. We've got Mario Kart. Grandma can pick it up. Anyone can pick it up. Maybe Super Smash is a bit harder for a full family sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think Mario Kart, Mario Party again, because there's a new Mario Party that's come out. So
we're playing that on Wednesday, boys.
So I feel like from that respect, that's probably one game that I think if you haven't got a Switch yet, get one.
Yep.
This festive period is a perfect thing, and that new Mario. The party game is probably one of the better ones to probably have a look at if you're going to add some games to your library for this festive period.
Probably a better idea than probably advising to get a PS5 or Series X these holidays, because once they're not really in stock still to this day, but there's not a whole lot of AAA games or big games out for them yet. I'd probably wait into 2022.
It's a good time to go back through the older games on PS4 and stuff. So if you haven't played, God of War, of course.
Yeah, someone should probably play that.
I might play it through it again. A couple of my mates have been talking about it, so I've been keen to get back into it. Doom Eternal, I love those. Those are just brain off shooting games, just run around, chaos. Speaking of Switch games, Super Mario Odyssey, I think everyone loves Breath of the Wild, obviously, but I think Super Mario Odyssey gets a little underappreciated. It's also just a cracking game, a lot of fun, wholesome fun. You're just running around, jumping, Mario exploring. There's always little nooks and crannies to discover. The Good Place on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's by the same guy who did Parks and Rec. So showrunner did Parks and Rec and The Office. So great caliber, great cast. Kristen Bell leads the charge. It's basically it's a comedy about what happens after death, but it gets a lot more philosophical than that. It's still hilarious, still kind of surreal. It's about this group of humans who all die and they end up going to what they think is heaven, or is it? Or isn't it? I don't want to ruin it because there's a lot of twists and turns to this, and it goes to some really out there places. But it's great from top to finish, from top to bottom, and start to finish. It's got that sort of it's got that Scrubs of it where it can do it makes you laugh, but there are some really emotional moments to it like and make you think as well. And I think it's a bit underrated. So if you haven't seen that one, I definitely recommend. I think most of the family can enjoy that one.
The only one, I think, have you guys seen Utopia, the Australian?
No.
That's a recommendation I will have every time, and I felt this is a perfect festive period one for it, because just checking out, it's saying it is on Stan.
Ooh, okay.
Here in Australia, and then it also came out on ABC. So I'm sure iView's still got it there, and just a great show. We're talking Aussie Humour before with Arnie Donners, and that's where it just came to me. I was like, I haven't recommended this one for a very long time, and I think this is the perfect one to watch with your family, because again, you might be at your grandparents' house and they don't have streaming services or whatever, or so they've got a smart TV with just ABC iView. So chuck this on. Great show, just about a fictional building, like national building company, and all the stuff and the hilarity that happens in there, with very witty Aussie humour of everyone having sort of been typecast in certain ways, and things just, as it always seems from the outside, that take forever to get done, and why it takes forever to get done, and the processes that go into building major national road planning.
Yep.
You know, it's hilarious. Like, you haven't seen
I haven't seen it. I've heard.
Have you seen it, John?
Good things.
It's very, very good, and it's a very easy watch.
Cool.
And it's something that I probably don't put on enough, because it's not on a Netflix on like a Friends or something.
A bit harder to access.
If I knew it was on Stan like I do now, I'll be putting this on tonight and just pick a random episode, and you just have good fun with it. So I'd be recommending that to anyone. Utopia, the Australian TV series.
Nice.
I think we probably hit our list of stuff that for your festive period.
At least a taste.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's more plenty more we're forgetting, but that'll get you started. That'll see you through at least through December.
I think that's it. I think
if you go through everything of that's
well
impressive.
Yeah.
I think in the end, if you go through this, I think you'll have a great festive period.
Indeed.
And so we'll just go quickly because we need to. Ring the bell.
Why not?
It's show and tell time. So I'm going to go in first, guys. I watched Tick, Tick, Boom, the musical drama off Netflix. It's
directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yes.
His directorial debut.
Based on the autobiographical musical by playwright Jonathan Larson. It's a story of an aspiring composer in New York City who was worried he made the wrong career choice. So you've got Andrew Garfield, Alexander Shipp, who was Storm in the shitty X-Men movies. Vanessa Hudgens. I forget how darn attractive she is. And then I checked how old she is. She's only 32, so I'm still within the
she's right, really.
Yeah, no, but you know when you look at someone and you go,
they're a bit after my time, but before my time.
But they're like, oh, maybe she's looking really good for like late 30s. I'm like, not 32 still. But you forget how old these people are when you're growing up at a similar time. But, you know,
dream big, Will. Dream big.
You got to dream big. Like, I forget that she was probably in, you're going to be throwing celebrity free passes up here, but she's never in my list of people that I think. And then I'm like, fuck, she's still very good.
I don't think you need a pass, Will. I think you're good.
Yeah, you're not getting that.
Yeah, shut up. You know what I mean. So very good. Very interesting. I wasn't expecting it. I was sort of scrolling randomly and I saw some memes on Netflix. And sometimes you just need a watch where you're not overly invested and you get into it. I don't mind a good musical, and there were some really interesting numbers, and I think Garfield's excellent. I don't know if there's awards buzz around this performance, but the direction's also good from Lin-Manuel, and like I said, very catchy songs that I feel like I'm probably not going to put them on in the car and listen to. It's not my really style.
It's not the Greatest Showman kind of.
Yeah, but I feel like there's some stuff in there that. And I feel like people who really love musicals will go back and continue to watch this, and it's a very heartwarming story. And
have you seen Rent?
I have, but not for a very, very long time now. So it's based on how he gets to this point of creating Rent. But I didn't know the story around his life, that he died the night of the day of the
spoilers.
First. No, this is not like.
I know. I didn't know that though.
Yeah, but I didn't know, and then they tell the story that he never actually got to see Rent.
Wow,
get performed.
That's
he died
crazy.
The night before.
Shit.
Of natural causes. So nothing else, just natural causes.
Nature is cruel. Nature is cruel.
But I don't know, again, if that comes to the thing of maybe that's how the story becomes so big that he never, people got to see it. And I thought it was really, really good. I was pleasantly surprised in a lot of those movies, especially when you're not overly intrigued in it. I think this is a lot of Netflix stuff. It's like, well, I got my phone there. I put my phone away and I was engrossed.
It's a good sign.
Pretty much a hair and a half until it got to a certain point. I was like, I better check my stuff now, and we'll go from there. But no, Jads.
That's at Netflix and cinemas, I believe.
Yeah, some cinema stuff, because I think they're going for the awards buzz. So
Netflix are doing that a lot. Well
they
not
have
a lot,
to,
but now they are with like Red Notice and stuff as well. They're pushing into the cinemas. Maybe that's just because they've got space in cinemas and they've got the money to actually go. We can do it.
I think you have to be in cinemas in New York and LA for like 2 weeks to be in award season. Yeah, some weird. Oscars
very
thing.
archaic. Yeah,
That's like you have to show it for 2 weeks in cinemas.
otherwise it's not a real film.
Yeah, so Netflix bought their cinemas in both cities now, and they just play them there now.
Because Red Notice is going to get Oscar noms. We know that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Maybe,
Anyway.
yeah, go on, Jack. You said
I went to the movies this week, and I saw Last Night in Soho.
When do you not go to the movies, Jack,
Yeah,
is
true.
my question.
Good point. This is a movie directed and written by Edgar Wright, who did stuff like Hot Fuzz, Baby Driver, and this film's a bit of horror, a bit of mystery, a bit of thriller, a bit of drama, and it's about an aspiring fashion designer played by Thomasin McKenzie from Jojo Rabbit.
Good last name.
Yeah, she's from New Zealand, I believe.
Oh.
And it's kind of a bit mystical in the way that she can enter the 1960s someone else's body through her mind while she sleeps, and everything that happens in the body somewhat happens to her and whatnot. And it's kind of a bit of a love note to London in the 1960s, and it goes into a bit about sex and a bit about just the industry back then and how corrupt it was, and a bit of horror is implemented into that aspect towards the end as well. But it's a very dark film. It looks quite lighthearted as it starts, but there's certainly some themes that Edgar Wright and some issues that he's trying to get out that are also relevant in modern day society as well. Matt Smith plays
the former Doctor Who.
The former Doctor Who plays one of the men in the 1960s, and Anna Taylor-Joy. She plays Anya Taylor. Yeah, plays a character from the 1960s in which she kind of goes into a body. I don't want to say too much without spoilers, but it's a very good film. It's different, it's dark, and I was pretty captivated right through the end. It's a very hard movie to explain. You almost need to sit down and watch it, but I would say it's probably one of the more unique films I've seen this year, and I would go to the point as far as saying I would definitely recommend it, but you'd almost have to like a borderline horror film to somewhat enjoy it.
Cool.
Interesting.
Nice.
Con?
As I hinted at earlier, Jack and I have been playing the new Halo Infinite multiplayer.
Yes.
Not together, ironically enough, which we should have coordinated better. I've been playing on PC. I think they've been calling it a beta, and I think there's a good reason. You can kind of see that in the game. It's reasonably limited, I'd say. Not so much in actual gameplay, which is just classic Halo and pretty solid, but like it's little things like you can't queue for specific game modes at the moment. Like you can't just go on to play Slayer/Deathmatch. It's you just have to get into a queue and you get what you're given.
Well, they call it beta to hide any technical faults.
Yeah.
Really, just as a cover.
Yeah. But in terms of gameplay, I'm having fun, but I'm also garbage at it. I don't know if that's my computer or not. You know, a bad workman blames his tools, as I will. But yeah, it's good. I think it's a bit limited. As I said, a bit limited. There's only like a handful of maps, and in terms of like progression and stuff, it is taking a long time to unlock. So you get to customize your Spartan or your character basically, but it takes a long time to unlock anything unless you've got the battle pass, like everything all free to play games have now.
They do plan to change that.
They have.
As well.
They've heard the feedback from that, and they are going to make it a bit easier, which is good. And I think another reason why they're calling it a beta. But yeah, so far so good, and it's free to play. So
yeah, it finds a good balance, I think, between the last half decent Halo of Halo 3. And kind of mixes it up with, first-person shooters of this era while still feeling distinctly Halo, I feel. They found a really good balance because Halo 5 and Halo 4 felt a bit flat on the multiplayer front. And I reckon they've, not Bungie, 343 Studios Industry, have found the sweet spot, and it's a lot of fun to play. Like, even Will, as much as you don't like this game, you could pick it up, have fun, and potentially do well. It's just they've just done it well. I like the fact it's free to play as well. It might be interesting to see how many people actually pick up the campaign, buy it from the shop, even though it is free on Game Pass. It'll be interesting how many physical copies of Halo Infinite now sell that the multiplayer is free and on Game Pass.
I think they're relying on the multiplayer.
Yeah,
right?
which is really interesting, but they're obviously going to lean heavily into the financial, microtransactions.
It's a bold play, and it could dictate, or not dictate, but have an influence on other shooters in the future who I'm sure are already looking at this stuff anyway to begin with, but this is sort of the first big one. But yeah, so far so good.
Very nice. I see, Connor, you also watched Knives Out.
Did a bit of throwback and watched Knives Out again. I think it's only the second time I've seen it, so I'm not going to spoil anything because it's a great movie, and I think it's obviously very well hyped up, and it's getting all new films and stuff, but I think it's still kind of one that snuck under the radar, especially here. Thoroughly recommend it. Just a good classic murder mystery, but it kind of flips it, and then it sort of tells you who murdered who, but there's a few little twists along the way. But yeah, it's the second watching's great because you start to pick up on a lot more of those little hints and all the little details. And also, it's just the cast in this is great. You got Daniel Craig as this Kentucky Fried detective who's hilarious, and it's just like such a reverse of James Bond, like from what we know him as. And then Ana de Armas as the lead character is great. Chris Evans is great. Everyone's great in this film.
It's a lot of people opposite their normal typecast, essentially, but I think it's really great.
A lot, and it's a big cast, but they don't. It's like what we were talking about with Spider-Man, where they don't spend a lot of time with everyone, so you get just the right amount of everyone to build up the story and the conflicts with everyone involved. There's little details like how different characters will tell different parts of the movie, like different story plots differently, and then it'll cut back and forth, and you'll see slight differences. So it's just very smart filmmaking.
Very, very much like real life. Everyone will tell a story in a different way too, even though.
But then it will cut to it and show it as well, which is really clever. Thoroughly recommend if you haven't seen it. I know we've raved about it on the show before.
I'm excited for the universe that they push forward from there.
See what happens.
I think, Jack, you've spoken about everything. We've all spoken about everything we've seen. So, guys and girls, I think that's the end of this week. So
another one down.
Is next week too? Is that what we're talking next week or is it the week after?
Might be Venom 2 next week.
No, I thought we were going to do our steak dinner.
Steak dinner. Lots happening.
So next week we might be going through
our predictions.
So way back at the start of the year, we predicted what was going to happen this year, and we put a bet.
Yeah.
The losers have to buy a steak dinner.
Yeah.
Or loser has to buy a steak dinner for everyone.
Losers.
So just the winner gets a free meal. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So the stakes are high for this one, and I don't think any of us can remember what the predictions are.
No.
So we're going to have to do some research, listen back to the show.
One of our own episodes.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, no. Yeah. Never go back. And we'll find out next week what the results are.
Jack, where can everyone find you?
Jack_Mason22 on Twitter and Instagram, and JackieBoys22 on TikTok. So, give them a follow. And Screen_Blend on Insta. And TikTok should hopefully be added to in the next couple of weeks too, if our streaming goes well.
Me, it will be Cuts and Yukon.
At CWJY. MCKNZE, Twitter and Instagram.
And that's it. That's the end of this week's episode, everybody. And we'll see you here next week.
See you, everyone.
Same time, same place, same bad channel.
Still the best.